Okay, it's Scott Miller. I am back again, and I want to share a new project that I'm working on. This is actually going to be a long video. It has a ton of components, and I've been working on quite a few different things at once. I'll kind of go over why in the description, but basically, just learning new technologies. One of the main things that I've been trying to learn more of is AWS. As a Salesforce person, as you see, Salesforce is open on my screen right now. I have the Brighter Broker app that I built that I've used to run a business for quite a while, but I've wanted to expand it. I'm rebuilding the website in AWS, and I built another site. And the other site, that's what I've been working on for a few weeks. It's called PadChatter. And what I'm going to do is, okay, this is always in my way here, but what I'm going to do is put PadChatter up on the screen and just show you what I've been working on there. I have this in PyCharm right now because basically it's a React front end, FastAPI back end. I'm also using Tailwind. I am not a a front end developer at all. I know a little bit about the back end. I love analytics and data science and machine learning and all that. So you're going to see a lot of that involved. I also love security, so there will be some security components that I'm adding. I will be building in a network. So there's a lot of tons of different aspects of this project, which actually will go into production and will be used with a business. But all that being said, I am going to go ahead and restart that for you because I don't have it up on the screen. But here we go. So basically, it wants me to sign in. So a lot of different things I want to point out, and this is still a work in progress. I do expect to have this live and available with only Maryland properties to start. There's a lot of different reasons why I'm only going to have Maryland to start because gathering real estate listings from across the country is a monumental task, and I don't do real estate across the country. I do have licenses in Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, but that's not my main role. My main role is tech, but having real estate is really difficult to source data. So right now, I'm only going to have Maryland. Eventually, I'll have Maryland, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, and hopefully one day I'll have the entire country represented here. It's just going to require a lot of different processes. And to give you a high level, I'm sourcing only the main picture. Because you think about storing images and imagine 100 images per property in some cases, and imagine 5,000 listings. So you can see where it's a really difficult task. But I'm only using the first picture here. So if you're not logged in, you can come to the main page and you can see this. And it's not live yet, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use your location to, if you allow me, if you allow me to have your location, I will show you listings in your immediate area based on your latitude and longitude. If you don't agree to this, which I'm going to, but allow this time, and it says showing properties near you. If you don't agree to that, then I'm going to use another type of algorithm to show you properties randomly. I'm not really going to share what the algorithm is about. I'm going to be kind of secretive, just kind of like some of the big tech companies do. They don't want to tell you what the algorithm is because people will exploit it, and same reason here. I don't want to exploit it. I'm just a one-man shop here, so I don't want to get exploited. But so I did give it the permission to have my location. And, just to give you an idea, this gives you the ability to like a property and comment on it. And that may seem simple, but if you think about it, nobody does that at all, and I think it's a great idea. It's kind of like reviews you see on Airbnb, but for active real estate listings, there's no way to comment. And obviously you're going to have some people who are very cynical. They're going to look at a property and say it's overpriced. Some people are going to hate the property. Well, that's part of the whole process. That's part of the fun. So I can't wait to launch this and see how people react react to it, and how they if I get enough people on the site, which I hope I do, um, just enough. I don't want too many, but just enough people to give conversation to the properties. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to allow me to iterate, and update based on what people have to say about things. So, but just to give you an idea, I'll have to log in. Yep, my test user. The test user will not exist when this goes live, but so the main picture pops up on the homepage. If you log in, you can see the rest. And the funny thing is, the rest of these are just URLs. So I don't download all the pictures. And the reason why is because they always change. They could change, I should say. If somebody decides that they want to change the pictures, then that's going to be a new process and a new, and then the database has to update all those new pictures. So right now I'm just using the URLs, and it works fine, and we'll see how fast it is with, 10 or 100 people on the site at once. But right now it works fine. So that's PadChatter. That's what I call it. And so, like I said, it's built on AWS, React, Tailwind, FastAPI, and it's a pretty cool site. And I just hope you think it's cool as well. Okay, so the next part of this whole thing is my Salesforce instance. As I'm a Salesforce developer, consultant, and I wanted to integrate Salesforce with this because if I have people interacting with these listings, I would like to see that in my Salesforce instance. And in Salesforce, I do have properties, and they come from the same API. So I'm able to use that same external ID to match them, for the integration. And what I thought was cool was to have, the comments here. So if I'm looking at properties and I have the comments here, that's a pretty cool feature, to be able to be looking through your CRM and you have properties and you have people looking and you have comments associated with those properties and you get insights about those properties and you're able to learn more. And think about even another process that brings in the users from PadChatter who may not be in the CRM. And then you have integration there where, okay, you see some of your clients maybe commenting, maybe they're not your clients, maybe they could be, but there's a lot of potential, a ton of potential, and it's a lot of fun. So that's the high level of what we have going on here. So what I'm going to do next is show you the process behind the integration between Salesforce and PadChatter, which is on AWS. Basically, at a high level, there is a gateway API in AWS, and I'm not going to show all that because there's a lot of there's a lot of proprietary credentials that might be exposed. But basically, there is a gateway API in AWS that calls a Lambda function that looks to the DynamoDB database and gets the comments. And the comments, like I said, are associated with a property ID. So after all that talking I just did, let's go ahead and demo it. Oh, and one other thing is that I actually have a comment summary. So we're implementing generative AI at the end, so to summarize the comments. So we have one comment here. This property has an awesome brick exterior. It might change because when I run, because I actually put that in there manually, and the actual comment from the actual property is something else. It was like a test. I put something like test this, test that, or something like that. So what I'm going to do is we're just gonna go create a comment on that particular property, if I could find it. Thought it was on the first page, but maybe not. Let's see. All right, let's just go through. As you see, we have some nice pagination going on here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so 1002 Diamond Oaks Court. This is in Bel Air, I believe. And yeah, as you see, the comment on there is something different. Is because I changed it in Salesforce because I wanted something specific to the actual the actual house and not something generic like this. And right now I can't edit this because I don't have the functionality in here yet. But as you can see, if I click again, like, it'll go to 0. Click at that, it goes to 1 because I'm the only person that liked it because it's not live yet. But we're going to go ahead and add another comment. Let's see. I'll say, wow, a 3-car garage. Because you don't see that often. So that's just noticed that. So let's go ahead and add that comment. All right. So now it doesn't instantly go to Salesforce because I have to run a process. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a batch every morning to do that. I'm not going to run it instantly. I won't sync it because it could be a lot. So I don't want all that data going back and forth. I'd rather just run a process and bring in what I want and have some control over it. So I do have this. I'm doing this in VS Code, not PodCharm, because Salesforce and VS Code are good buddies. So here's the code basically that makes the call out. But what I'm going to do is run an execute anonymous script, and it's going to run the process. So it's basically what that did just now is it made a call out and it fired that gateway API over in AWS, which called the DynamoDB script. Well, they called the Lambda script, which went to DynamoDB, got the comments. So right now, let's go take a peek at this. And it may not show up in here because I had to hit resume, so it wasn't capturing all the debug data here. I have to refresh that. Okay, so it won't show up there. I wanted to show you here in the debug logs. Maybe it did. Let's see. Move my head out the way. There we go. Okay, yeah, maybe it did. All right, so yeah, inserting new comments and testing for Salesforce. So it looks like it only grabbed the 2 testing for Salesforce comments, or this could be older. This is from this morning. So yeah, that's not the new one. All right, so let's go and take a look at the actual record. I'll hit refresh. All right, so wow, 3-car garage. There it is. So that's the next part. So we got the integration. Comments are coming in, showing the most. I have it sorted by created date, so showing the most recent first to to whoever's looking at this record in Salesforce. But let's do one more thing. I'm not done. We got the comment summary. I have I did create a field generation prompt template using a flow to summarize these comments, because if you have 10 comments or 20 and you want to know what people think about this property, kind of similar to what you see on like Facebook where the comment summarization is at the top, doing the same thing here. So we'll go ahead and click this, the little stars, and then it says the comments highlight features of the property in the real estate listing: a 3-car garage and an impressive brick exterior. So people like it. Let's go ahead and use that. It puts it right into the field, and there you go. So the comment summary is there. You can update that as you need, and we can go here and take a look as well. So yeah, that's it. Not as long as I thought it would take to show you all these different features. I will run through real quick and show you the prompt template. It's very simple. I wanted to summarize these comments in the context of a real estate listing. I gave it the instructions, and then I fired. And I just wanted to give it context, because if somebody says something that's not state, I wanted that still to be captured here. Flow, property summarized comments. That's the flow I built, which I'll show you next. And let's go to the flow. The flow, basically, I had to use a template triggered prompt, which is what triggers when you click that generative AI button inside the field. I got all the comments associated with that property. It's going to allow you to use the input of that record, of whatever record this flow exists on. This was created to go on the property. And we had to select that when we're setting up this flow. We had to select the property. Check if comments exist. If no comments exist, it'll just give you a record. A note will say no comments exist, in order to summarize. Then we loop through the comments, add them to the prompt instructions, and that's it. This is a pretty simple flow. And it took me probably an hour to do this part. Everything else is taking weeks. Well, the Salesforce integration, I spent about 6 hours total doing that integration. It would have taken it a lot longer in the past, but one of the difficult parts was integrating Salesforce and the Gateway API. And the slightest thing can throw it off. If you have a response in your API that's not in the proper structure, it will send back a code of an error code. So a lot of little details to work out, but a cool project. Can't wait to have it launched to the public in the next couple of weeks. So that's it. Thanks a lot. Talk to you next time. Bye.